you sent me this video. This is New York's new bail law.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain what it is, Mike? Or does this video explain accurately since it's government funded?
We've talked about it a little bit before on the show. So New York State, a couple of months back, or actually, I think at the beginning of 2020, they started this really cool new Bail Reform Act. So pretty much, unless you've like murdered somebody or you're a definite flight risk, doesn't matter. They just release you. So you ROR you. Doesn't matter if it's a violent crime. Doesn't matter if it's a robbery. Doesn't matter what it is. And it's obviously led to a lot of like catch and release. And these people that like there's one chick on Long Island who's like terrorizing Long Island. She's like some homeless crazy schizo. And she's constantly throwing bricks through the windows of places and just running in there and taking things. And she's done this several times, and they keep arresting her because of the new bail reform. They have to keep letting her go. And then she gets out of jail and immediately throws a brick through another 7-Eleven. And it's now
this is New York City, not state.
The entire state.
The entire state of New York.
The entire state of New York.
Okay, so who made this video? Because this video is going to be impartial and stuff, right?
The Vera Institute wants to tell us about the new wonderful bail law that's totally not led to a crime wave.
Okay, so let's see this video and then we'll see what it's led to. Let's do that.
On January 1st of this year, Governor Cuomo and the New York legislature passed landmark bail reforms. The impact has been tremendous. Thousands of New Yorkers have returned home to their families, to their homes, to their jobs, and to their communities.
Nice.
And New York has saved tons of money that they would otherwise have used to detain people. Crime and public safety has remained the same. Despite these successes, there's been pushback from many who say that bail reform has gone too far. And they're using isolated events and high-profile cases to ask for rollbacks. The problem with those rollbacks is that it sends us back to where we were before, where money bail dictates whether a person is released. Wow. Money bail results.
So almost like when we have bail, like there's an incentive to be good because you can't afford not to be.
No, Royce, what they're arguing is that this makes rich people the only ones that can
break the law.
Oh, okay. Afford bail.
And two justice systems, one for the rich and one for the poor. Under old laws, people charged with low-level offenses often sit in jail for months on end simply because they can't afford to buy their freedom.
Now, that's 100% of the time? That's what's going on? Mike, you're a New Yorker, not me, so I'm asking.
Forget New York. Forget where you're at, whatever. Almost anybody, unless you did some really serious shit and you're really broke, almost anybody can get bail.
Oh yeah, of course.
If you fucked up, you can get bail on some shit that would surprise you. Like a broke person could get bail on an armed robbery. Like that's not. They're acting like this was a great idea to help poor people get back, and not ruin their lives with an arrest. The problem is that now there have been multiple incidents where they let somebody out, ROR'd them on a DUI, they got clipped, a couple days later, hit somebody and killed them, which is one of the stories we'll get into.
You mean the isolated incidents?
There's a guy in New York City who punched an old lady and robbed her and literally broke her orbital bone or something, or knocked some of her teeth out, and was released, ROR'd, let out the next day, punched some other old lady in the face and robbed her.
That's a good question if somebody has. But what if you're a Proud Boy, you attend a rally?
Probably no bond.
Okay.
Yeah.
People who have resources can easily find the money to post bail. So the issue is not public safety. The issue...
But people that have money aren't doing hood rat shit. I mean, that's what you're not mentioning is people that have money aren't breaking orbital bones, like you said. Like, they're not doing that.
Is simply who has access to cash. New York's new bail law is an improvement.
It's almost like the people that have money have done things correctly in their life, right?
Also, you notice how, this is why their propaganda won't work forever. This guy's just reading this off a card. He doesn't even believe it or feel it. You could just see the way he's just reading it soullessly. These people don't really believe what they're telling you.
Upon our previous law because it allows the same justice for all New Yorkers. New Yorkers should give the law a chance, resist the urge to compromise based on sensational headlines, and we make it clear that we don't want New York.
So what if it was like your grandma that had her orbital bone broken? You shouldn't care?
A couple of isolated incidents shouldn't ruin such an amazing community enriching project.
Right.
And by the way, everybody I know from New York hates this. Hates this law.
New Yorkers to be held in jail simply because they have no money. Holding firm is the most important investment that we can all make to ensure justice for all New Yorkers.
Wow, that's really deep. So it's been working out?
Yeah, it's been working out.
It's been working out? Okay. Can I just play this related video?
Yeah.
Thanks.
A suspect at the center of the bail reform battle on Long Island in court today, accused of killing another man in a DWI crash. CBSN New York's Nick Calloway has details.
In Suffolk County Court this morning, Jordan Randolph was formally indicted on charges of vehicular homicide, manslaughter, 3 counts of DWI, and other charges. Randolph is accused of drunk driving in a January 12th crash that killed 27-year-old Jonathan Flores Maldonado. The victim's family saying the suspect should never have been on the road. Earlier in the month, Randolph was released with an appearance ticket for allegedly interfering with his ignition interlock device. A Suffolk judge.
For those who don't know what an interlock device is, when you get a DUI in a lot of cases, depending on what, not every time, but depending on what kind of DUI is, when they give you your license back, they put a device in your car that it's a breathalyzer that you have to blow into.
And it's, I will say this too, almost always somebody's second or subsequent offense.
Of course, yeah.
I've never seen anybody get an interlock. Unless they, if you were first time DUI and you crashed into somebody or something, they might make you get it. But this guy, if he already had the interlock and was removing it and going around it, this guy had a problem. This guy definitely had a problem.
Right.
Was released with an appearance ticket for allegedly interfering with his ignition interlock device. A Suffolk judge claimed his hands were tied and released the 3-time DWI defendant with no bail, despite 6 felony convictions, 6 misdemeanor convictions, and 5 failures to appear.
So, what? Is that a big deal?
There almost has to be a point where people just aren't granted certain rights and luxuries anymore, right? Like there has to be a point where you just go, like that's enough that you could say about somebody. All right, well, my first question would go, all right, besides the 5 failures to appear, 6 felonies, 6 misdemeanors, is this all from the same case or something? But no, when you start sketching somebody's history, you got to reach a point, right, where you go, you clearly don't have any respect for any of this, like life, the system, the community, your family. You don't care about any of this, right? So what are we going to do with you?
In court, after his release, he allegedly drove drunk again. This time, the crash was fatal, claiming the life of the SUNY Buffalo graduate. Today in court, we learned during his arrest after that crash, he told police, quote, January 1st, the law's changed. I'll be out tomorrow.
Did he really do that? Like now? Like this is recent that he said that?
No, I think he said it to the cops that night.
Graduate. Today in court, we learned during his arrest after that crash, he told police, quote, January 1st, the law's changed. I'll be out tomorrow. Today in court, the judge remanded Randolph without bail. He's due back in court.
Whoops.
Again on February 25th in Central Islip, Long Island.
Wait, is he out again or is he still in jail?
He got arrested again on an unrelated warrant for a failure to appear on some other shit. So that they used the judge that did this is kind of being a bit of a dick right now to the system because he's had it.
Right.
So he's using this. Well, you violated your bond for the last thing, and technically, that means that you can say, all right, you don't get any bond until we sort this out.
Right.
So he's kind of using, this judge is kind of using a loophole, but it's like, people have had it, dude. They've really had it.
But these laws, like you say, these aren't just exclusive to New York. Like, was it in Arizona, the car that got robbed? So they stole like $2,500 of, I believe it was Arizona. Someone will correct me. They stole $2,500 worth of shit out of somebody's car. I think they were transporting stuff. It was like legit shit. The person caught it on camera. They have the suspects' faces, everything. They have everything. They went to the cops and they said, "Look, I have their faces and everything." And they said, because it was under $5,000, we don't go after theft."
What?
Yeah, this is true. Like in California too, depending on how much you steal, like if you steal, this is for real. In certain states, if you steal under a certain amount now, the cities specifically, LA's this way now, San Francisco's this way. I think in LA and San Francisco, if it's under $750 of something you've stolen, they don't actively pursue it as theft anymore. Like you can get away with it, and they tell you to deal with it with your insurance company. They'll write a report for you, but they won't actively go after the criminals anymore.
So they're legalizing theft, essentially. That's what they're doing.
Right, correct. There's a lot of places.